Episode 30 sucks, yeah.
How appropriate. Episode 30 sucks.
Very funny.
We should get you to say, welcome to episode 36.
G'day everybody and welcome to episode 36 of ECITV. In today's show we're going to talk about the 2021 TLD Sprint and Sprint Ultra gear. We're going to talk about a recent interview we did with Jake Sverns, who's the current Australian Masters champion. Chain alignment video that Paul and I did together not long ago, and Tioga have an update on their new prototype front end, new products from ECI,
And happy Easter, everyone.
we haven't finished yet,
Yeah, I know, but...
upcoming events,
Oh.
and then I'll start eating this. See you in a bit. G'day, he's Gary,
And he's Shane.
and you're watching ECI TV.
You certainly are. Enjoy. Okay, everyone, welcome back to episode 36. Shane's a little bit busy at the moment. He wasn't joking when he said he might rip the head off of that. So, anyway, welcome along. And this week we've got Paul with us. Paul Knox, as you all know. So, say hello, Paul.
Hello.
Maybe what we should do is, rather than just say, here's Paul, give a bit of background on Paul, because Paul's been in the bicycle industry for a long time.
Couple of years.
Both here and in New Zealand. So maybe give us a little bit of your backstory, Paul.
Well, I started racing BMX in I think 82, then started working in bicycle retail around about 1990. So worked retail shops in New Zealand, pro shopped trackside from about 91 onwards, moved across to Aussie in 98, caught up with Gary, started pro shopping for Gary, worked in Total BMX, worked in Elite Cycle Imports, yeah.
Been involved quite a bit.
So you started off freestyle though when you first got into BMX, didn't you?
No, I started
you were a
as a
racer
racer.
first.
Racing.
Started racing, got into freestyle, then raced and freestyle, which I still do.
And predominantly flatland a lot now, though, don't you?
Especially through
Or is
COVID.
that just... Yeah.
Nah, flatland hurts less.
Yeah. No, if you've ever seen some of Paul's clips on his little flatland, his COVID front yard sort of flat landing type exposés, check them out. They're pretty cool. He does some pretty neat little tricks.
So you've been heavily involved in the bicycle industry, not only in the stores you were talking about and with ECI, but you also helped develop some Kuahara product. You've been to Interbike and know a lot of the industry types from over there.
Done a bit of product development on and off. Yeah, with Kuahara it was just helping them dial in the geometries on the Lachesis range. Spec'd a few products with Gary for
Tough neck.
For Tough Neck. Worked with a couple of other companies just to iron out some stuff with them. So yeah, so I've got a bit of background knowledge as well as
Had a couple of memorable trips overseas to Interbike and Taiwan, and a few things that we might talk about on an R-rated episode or something like that. And actual fact, you ended up with a bit of a bug for travelling, didn't you, to Taiwan?
Yeah, that's definitely for a later show.
Yeah. We won't talk about parasites in the body, but anyway.
Isn't there a Guns N' Roses song, Take Me Down to the Parasite City?
That's what you get for eating, what was it, squid beaks.
Squid beaks.
Squid beaks and duck tongues.
Squid beaks and duck tongues.
A squid beak's hard.
Yeah, like popcorn.
Yeah, no, they're the muscle around the actual beak.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we ate them as fast
Why?
It's like eating Chook's giblets.
But why?
The muscle around the... Yeah,
No, that
anyway.
was the duck tongues.
Yeah.
Parsons,
but anyway.
Parsons' nose?
Yeah,
Anyway.
No, that under it. I'll make you some giblet soup one day.
No, you won't.
or as the kids know, call it sphincter soup. But anyway, let's get back on track.
Maybe we should save that for a different show.
Happy Easter.
Alright, so the very first thing we'll talk about now that we know all about Paul is Troy Lee have announced their Ultra Sprint Ultra and Sprint range for 2021. We showed off their helmets in the last show. These were released a couple of weeks later. So just brand new designs, high-end race gear. You quickly saw some photos of it. What do you think of the designs from this year, Paul?
Yeah, they look good. I especially like some of the fade ones that they've gone for. So instead of the high-intensity graphics, gone for something a little bit, well, not...
A bit more mellow.
Yeah, mellow. Not really subtle, but yeah.
It does seem like a lot of the designs coming out now are a little bit more like that. They're not as colourful and as standout. They are sort of fading and a little bit more mellow these days. So.
It'd be one of those industries. It'd be really hard to stand out. You almost have to try and not stand out to stand out from the crowd. You know, everyone else has got all these bright, sort of really colourful kind of designs, and to stand out in that crowd, you've got to sort of pull back.
Could always put on stupid pink bunny ears. That'd help you stand out.
I don't know. Paul's the only one that really stands out here, and he's kind of doing his own thing. It's a bit Sesame Street, isn't it?
The jerseys look a lot more fitting this year. They seem to be a tighter cut.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the models that they got to put on smaller jerseys or what the deal was, but I think you're right. I mean, that's been an ongoing trend where...
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of trend. Like a lot of the Fox gear this year is a lot tighter than it has been previously as well.
And you would have seen with the Ultra stuff that it's got a lot more air perforation, so maybe that's got something to do with the tighter fit and being able to still cool down.
Which makes you wonder about the UCI 5mm.
I'm sure it's a stretch material. I'm sure if you put it on someone smaller than you might get you 5mm of movement.
Didn't even know that was such a thing.
There's some strange rules. Also, while we're at Warrnambool, I did an interview with Jake Sverns quickly. So Jake's current Australian national champion. It took me a while to sort of figure out when he won that, because we haven't run a national championship for 2 years. And it was more about, I talked to Jake earlier that week, and he said he was going to join the army, so it was interesting to sit down and have a chat with him.
It was really interesting to hear that. That sort of, to me, that came out of left field.
Well, he has been talking to me about it for quite a while, you know, quitting BMX and joining the army, so yeah, good luck to him. You know, he achieved the Australian Championship win that he's been riding for a long time, and then to go on and be accepted into a career that he's been chasing for a while as well.
And he could be called up at any stage, couldn't he?
Yeah. So he does say we'll see a little bit of him at national series races, so it sounds like he expects not to go in for at least a couple of months.
Geez, if they call him up soon, he could retire national number one.
Yeah. He could. Well, he's got till November, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, very good. No, it is a good interview. Yeah, not too long and everything, but it's in depth, and it's good to hear from Jake, because he's a lovely guy.
So that one you have to watch separately. We're going to try and start changing the format of the show a little bit. We'll keep interviews and technical tips and racing coverage all separate, so you can just pick and choose what you want to watch. In the ECITV show, we're going to talk more about products and upcoming events.
Yeah, why not?
All right, so talk about products. Paul and I actually sat down to do our first video together on chain alignment, which we released this week. We'll provide a link to that one. But Paul, do you want to give us a quick backstory on chain alignment and how you come up with the method that you used in the video?
Well, I didn't come up with it. It's been around for a fair while.
Why you use it?
Why I use it. Especially trackside, I get approached a lot, especially when I was pro shopping, with people with, oh, my chain keeps coming off, my chain comes off, or what's this really bad noise from my hub, and almost invariably it came down to chain alignment. When your chain's out of line, if it's, you either have to have it tight enough that it doesn't pop off, in which case if you do it up good and tight, that's when you wind up with the cracking, creaking and all those sort of noises, or you leave it that little bit loose and the chain just pulls off the rear sprocket. A lot of people don't realise the importance of actually having it properly aligned, and the system that I use with measuring it, I use that way because when I build a bike up from scratch, it's the simplest way that you know that you've got everything on track for. You throw on your front sprocket, do it up to the position it's going to be in, throw your back wheel on, measure it quickly, and you know straight away whether you're going to have to add some more spaces to to the front or flip the front chainring over, and while you're doing the bike in the build-up stage, it takes away all that guesswork of, oh, okay, once I do the wheel up, then I'll put the chain on, and it's just and basically it's a fail-safe method of getting your chain alignment right first time.
I think one of the things you didn't quite touch on in that show, in that episode, is not just the noise and everything like that, but the wear.
Yeah.
Because obviously if your chain's out of alignment, your rear cog and your front chain ring is going to wear quite quickly and also start to distort your chain. So, you know, just for the sake of saving dollars, let alone noise and everything else, because, you know, you got to realise you've got a chrome moly chain and an alloy front chain ring, and it's just going to chew those teeth out pretty quick if it's not aligned correctly. So I don't think that was mentioned in it, but it is a very, very important part of it.
Yeah, I actually run alloy rear cogs. And
yeah,
always
so
have
it chew the hell out of them.
Yeah, so yeah, but with it perfectly aligned, yeah, it doesn't even wear the rear cogs.
Yeah, perfect. No,
so how long were you doing the visual alignment for before you turned to this process?
What, with a ruler or something?
With a straight edge, or the longest ruler you could find. I did that for a few years just because it's simple. Yeah,
I still do that. Simple's good.
Simple. Yeah. What I got sick of was you'd set it up and you use the ruler and you get it straight, and you look down the ruler and it's like, yeah, it's kind of straight, and then you go, did I really look? And I wind up doing it half a dozen times.
Yeah, whereas now mathematically, it's spot on.
Yeah.
The thing I like about doing it mathematically like that is you can then just work on the rear cog or whatever if that's where you want to, and you can just vary that to precisely what you want. You're not then checking, moving. Yeah, exactly. You're just working on one thing. So yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah,
so watch of that.
It's already got a little bit of traffic and people inquiring about the calculations. So I actually had to add the calculations to the description.
Oh, okay.
Just to give people a bit more detail. So we did say we're going to charge for that, but I'm sure we'll get our money back eventually.
Or you can just Google it.
Yeah.
What? No copyrights.
Also announced this week was Tioga have refined their front end system a little bit. So they've lowered the fork height and dropped the height of the handlebar, so it's a taller rise handlebar now. I think from what I can make out, it's basically the fork's stiff enough that they can do that. So they're trying to, you know, find a good balance between the whole weight and stiffness factor. So I'm sure we're going to see a few more changes. What do you think of the slightly new look, Paul?
Yeah, I think visually it looks a lot better than the CW dead flat crossbar on it, with the slight riser bar. Also with a slight riser that gives you the opportunity to slightly rotate the bar too, so you can dial in your bar angle and your sweep and rise slightly with it, being able to rotate it a little bit more. But yeah, it looks a lot cleaner. With a number plate on, you'd probably be hard pressed to tell that it's a triple tree.
So you've been known to use triple clamp forks in the past. Would you go for a fork like this to have a play?
When I used the triple clamps, it was very early days of them and they were not a success. Modern technology must have improved them.
You know what I can't get over is when we first saw these and thought, is it a bit of a joke or is it serious? And then we quickly realised that they were serious, these forks. I can't believe the amount of time and effort that Tioga are putting into this to refine it, to improve it, to change this, change that. I mean, they're obviously very strong. They've got very strong belief in the fact that these are going to work, and they just want to make sure they work because they've put a lot of R&D into these forks. So hopefully it works out for them, because I'm very surprised from something that we thought was a little bit of a joke. They're obviously very serious about it and just putting a lot of effort into it. So it's great to see.
Yeah, I think the main issue when I was running triple clamps is we were restricted by a 10mm front hub, and so with a 10mm front hub, trying to get the leg, my biggest problem is I'd get the legs actually moving independently. You get to the end of a race and one side of your bar was higher than the other.
Good for going around left-hand corners. Get to a right-hand corner, you'll bug it.
now with a 20mm through axle hub, which is where it came from, the mountain biking in the first place, was to hold the stanchions stiffer.
Yeah.
We're at the point now where there's no reason why they won't work for BMX.
Good point.
So you got some news for us, Gary?
Yeah, you got a couple of new products at ECI. We're expanding slightly on the more the B2C side of things. We've bought in some Tioga Tires. We've just want to expand our range a little bit, more so for probably our team riders as anything, just to give them a few more options. But why not let it, you know, sort of open up to the public a little bit more? So yeah, we've got a delivery at the moment of Tioga Faster and
Faster
X and Fast React tyres in stock, so they're on the website now. We're also starting to carry a few more chains. Our chain range was quite limited, and as we've spoken about in previous shows, the lead times or the availability of product is very restricted at the moment, and so we've been having a little bit of trouble getting some of our normal chains, ACS and Answer. So what we've decided to do is start carrying a few KMC chains as well. So we've just landed some K1 SL narrow chains, hollow pin, lightweight gold chains. Now, the gold on those, Paul?
Yeah, that's a nitride coating.
Yep.
So it makes them resistant to wear, and it's also got excellent properties for holding the lube to your chain.
Okay.
So they're smoother running and slightly longer lasting.
And quite lightweight with the hollow side plates and hollow pins. And then for your more budget conscious, just some K1, basically the old cool chain, all in 332nd for race. So we've got those in the narrow 332nd as well, just in silver. Yeah. So just a few products, and we'll probably expand a little bit more on that. And then while we're at it, for all you people who run French valve on bikes and everything, we've got some adapters there, so you can still steal a American valve pump or just go to a service station if need be. So just got a few little things like that. We'll be expanding on that in the coming weeks.
Now, I'm not sure if you're aware with the chains, they're a genuine 332nd, and quality 332nds are actually getting a lot harder to find.
Is that what you're saying is like the 11/16s and all these multi-speeds and everything like that, whereas these are a true single-speed 332nd?
Yeah, because most of the mountain bikes and road bikes now are 11/128 for their 2x11 drive chains and all that sort of stuff. A lot of the chain manufacturers are doing all their high-end products aimed at that, and see the BMX market as kind of, well, very basic bikes. So there hasn't been a good supply of a genuine 332nd single speed chains. It's getting one of
our good customers, the Brooks family, Andrew Brooks, they were in a similar situation like that. Like they're always buying quality products, and they had they run Ren and chain rings on all their bikes. And they had a similar situation. They spent a lot of money on a quality, lightweight, super thin chain, and found out it just didn't fit the BMX cogs. Even though your Ren and cogs and everything like that are quite precise, or chain rings are quite precise, it just wouldn't fit. So they had to go back to a true 332nd.
Yeah, 11/128s. They are so narrow that the margin for fitting is
quite minimal.
Yeah.
Okay.
But once again, chain alignment helps.
Yeah, definitely. And these chains are like $60 or $69 or something. So the last thing you want to do is not have it aligned, chew out, a $100 chain ring, $60 chain, and a $50 rear cog, just because it's not lined up. So a simple thing like that can save you a lot of money, and also inhibit the performance of the bike. So if you don't do it right.
You wanted to tell us about your cups too, didn't you, Gary? Yeah,
well, we've had these in for a little while. The weather is starting to turn. We're coming out of summer, although you wouldn't realise that here in Melbourne today as we're filming, because we've got the air conditioner on. But the Profile Racing coffee cups, we do use them for a lot of other things. Like I drink cordial with ice out of this, and it just lasts all day. But I know a few people, these are thermal insulated with a with a good seal top that opens and shuts, and a rubber boot so it'll hold fast. They are very popular, and I know that people who have had them say they can't believe it. You pour coffee into that and it just lasts all day. You can still drink it all day because it's quite warm. So it's not a new product, it's something we've had for a while, but just to let you know now that we're coming out of summer that we do have the profile coffee cups. And we do have about 3/4 of a bunny rabbit left at the moment, but that's slowly diminishing.
Working on that. So we've got some events coming up. This is one we've been talking about on and off again for months. Round 2 and 3 of the Victorian State Series at Shepparton is next weekend. But there was a little bit of doubt about what's going on with the Queensland outbreak. So fingers crossed, everyone can get to race it, and they'll have their big, the Elite World Championship qualifying rounds there. So it should be pretty exciting. We did organise to talk to Anthony Dean, and I'm sure we'll get to talk to a whole bunch of other elite riders while we're there.
Well, most of us are there.
Well, yeah, the important people. And Lilydale BMX Club have announced a date for Conquer the Valley. So I think,
Conquer the Valley?
Yes.
Sweet.
They've been trying to find a date for this one for a while. So the 2nd of May, so it's not far away now. So a club close to both your hearts, really. It's just down the road from you, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, less than 5 minutes from my house.
Nice. And Gary was former president.
Yeah.
So aside from that, we're looking forward and starting to plan for the National Series race that kicks off in Sydney on May the 22nd. So that should be good to finally get back on the road, back into states, and enjoy some good racing and some laughs. And
well, we're going to be chasing up some accommodation today, but we haven't got around to that. So anyone out there that's got a house that will accommodate about 15 BMXs, as well as about 20 BMX bikes, and probably a couple of blow-ins, just give us a bell. Don't drink much and don't party. So.
All right, well that's about all we have. I hope everyone has a happy and safe Easter, and we'll catch up with you guys again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and thanks very much for coming along, Paul, and filling in a spot and leaving the Easter Bunny alone so Shane can enjoy it all, because I can't eat chocolate. So.
Can you eat chocolate?
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
What'd you call him? Anyway, thanks very much, and stay safe out there, and yeah, see you next time.
Cheers.
Quick and easy, mate. Quick and easy.
That wasn't so bad.
Nah, it never is.
Never take it seriously.
What are we trying to settle, eh? What's the matter?
Can't tell if it's recorded. Do you reckon I'd make a Playboy bunny? I got a big tail.
Do I look as bad? Yeah, I probably do.
I got a big tail.